Hey guitar class, how's everybody doing today? I hope everybody's staying healthy and safe. So since we're back from spring break, let's go ahead and learn how to change some strings. So today's class will be on changing the strings of a steel string guitar, like this Martin I have right here. You can see that we're dealing with bridge pins and steel strings right there. So we're going to go ahead and get started. All we need is our guitar, pack of strings, string winder, and snips. These three things make it go real easy. So I like to take all the strings off. You may prefer doing one at a time if you're new to this, but I like to take all the strings off at once. So I just start right here and get my string winder going. Once I get it loose, I just go to the next one. Next one. Next one. And again. And the last one. All right, once I got them loose, they're all floppy. You can see that, it's pretty floppy. Once I got them loose, I'll just go ahead and pull them off the top here at the head, off the string post. You can see I'm just kind of unwind it and pull it out. Same thing here. Just repeat this step 6 times. All right, all done. Great, so now, again, the string winder is very helpful because not only can you unwind and wind strings with it, but you can also pull your bridge pins out. If you have a acoustic guitar with nylon strings, you don't have to worry about that. But with a steel string, we have our bridge pins. So you can see those guys right here. And with the string winder, it has a little notch right there. Can you see that notch? I'm just going to take that and then pop it underneath. If I can get to it. Right underneath the... Oh, well, of course, that one's giving me a hard time. And then they do sometimes. If they do, just go ahead and get the ones out you can, which I'm going to do. Let me see if you can see that. I'll back it up a little bit here in the frame. This one not being a pain. There we go. Go ahead and get those other strings out. Get them into a trash can. You always want to get your strings into a trash can, whether you wrap them up like so and get them out or get them away. They will ruin a vacuum cleaner real quick. Okay, so I got this one that's being stuck. It's being kind of give me a hassle. So there's a couple things I can do. Sometimes you're able to push the string back in a little bit, like down into the body. That's not happening here. So I'm just gonna grab another tool. I think this will work. Let's see, I got the end of a screwdriver. I'm just gonna go up under, and I'm gonna push from the other side. Oh, there it goes. So sometimes that happens. So if you do have one get stuck, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Go ahead and get the other ones out that you can. And then if you can, sometimes you can push the string back into the body and the peg will be released. If not, get all the other strings out of the way and get you something that's hard plastic like this, and then just push it out from the other side. All right, so I got all the strings off. all my strings, my old strings in the trash can. And then I like to go ahead and give it a little wipe down at this point. Kind of clean off the dust. It's real hard to clean it with the strings on, but you can get it pretty nice this way. And I'll tell you what else I'm going to show you today too, since we got plenty of time on our hands. Okay. We'll use this lemon oil right here and just give a little spray to my fretboard. Been a little while since I changed these strings. Give a little spray. Usually I let it sit on a while, like 20 minutes. Today, I don't have that for the class, so I'm just gonna go ahead and wipe it down. Now when I wipe it, I always wipe this way, back and forth. Not like this, just this way, so the oil can get down in the grooves of the wood. I'll just go through each fret. I don't want to leave it sticky either. I want to get some of that oil back off. I also want to push some of that oil down in the grains of the grain of the wood there. All right. Now, that looks pretty shiny now. It's looking pretty nice. All right. And then what I'll do, I'll go ahead and take the leftover on the towel and hit my saddle and bridge as well. Give them a little bit of oil. So anything that's unfinished, you can put a little bit of oil on it. You don't really want it on the finished part. You can polish the finished part, but you don't want any oil on there. Okay. All right. So, put the strings back on. You see, I'm using a bench here. This kind of helps out. If you're not using a bench, you might want to use a table at your house or a desktop or something like that you can get to. I find that the bench makes it a little easier because I can put all the strings back in and then wind all the strings back up at one time, or vice versa. When I was taking them apart, I could take all the strings off the head and then take all the strings out the other side. So anyway, we got the strings, we got the guitar kind of cleaned up a little bit. Looks pretty nice. Dust has been removed. A little oil, I missed a little bit up there. Oh, and something just happened. This is okay too. So if you're doing stuff like this and say your nut comes off, most of the time the nut can go right back. So it's not a big deal. A lot of times nuts are either glued in or not glued in. And same thing with the saddle. So see, the saddle can come straight out as well. So it's good not to turn these things upside down and lose any parts. Because if you do, you want to remember how they go back on. All right, so now moving on to the strings. So let's go ahead. I like to just go ahead and open up the pack. Get all 6 strings out. And since we have this end kind of facing the camera, we'll go ahead and we'll go from 6 to 1 and put them all in. And I'll just let them hang over the side. One at a time. Oh, so I should explain this too. Sorry, guys. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the ball end of the string right there. It's called the ball end, and that goes directly in the hole. And then on my bridge pin, you'll see that it has a groove See that groove right there? Right there's the groove. And that groove, I'm gonna line up right with the string itself. So they're exactly in line. The string goes in, groove over the string. Make sure you put the groove over the string. Again, ball in, locate groove. Huh. Two more. This is a pretty old guitar. It's had the strings changed quite a bit. I'm gonna make sure that that string is not pulling the bridge pin back out. There we go. Oh yeah, that feels much better. Yay! All right, last one. All right, these all feel really good and snug. Now they might pop out while you're tuning it up. Just push them back in. That's all you have to do. All right, so what I'm gonna do for the camera purposes is I'm just gonna turn the guitar around. I'm getting all the strings together. You won't have to do this at home. Oh, my saddle just fell out. Remember me telling you guys to watch it when you turn it upside down? That's okay. If that does happen, it's angled and kind of rounded. Oh, excuse me, I had the sneezes today. Here we go. You'll see that the higher end will go underneath the bass strings and the lower end is going to go underneath the treble strings. All right. So here's the trick. You got to pay attention to this part. So we already got the string in, we got the bridge pin in, everything's good. Saddle's back where it needs to be. What I'm gonna do, and you want to make sure they all go to the right spot. I'm gonna start with the first string. Take the first string to the string post where it should be. And what I'm gonna do, this is the trick. This is where it's very important. I'm gonna pull it to where I'm keeping the string about 6 inches away from the sound hole. And then from there, I'm gonna come up here. I got plenty of slack. I wanna make sure I leave plenty of slack. I'm gonna wrap, and I always wrap inwards. Right, so I just wrapped, and I wrap over the string the first time, and I'm gonna demonstrate this every time. Over the string, and then from there, I'm gonna take my string winder and wind away. I'm gonna see if I can hold this guitar up in the frame where you can see it. And I just wind. And wind. I like to keep it nice and even where it looks nice and pretty. And it's actually, they say that's better for the string itself anyway, right? All right, I got it kind of tight. I don't have it up to pitch by any means. I just like to get it on there, make sure everything's sounding good. I'm gonna come back and worry about tuning it afterwards. I'm gonna go ahead and start the next one. Let's see if I can lower this a little bit where you guys can see. Oops. Oh, that's much better. Okay, let's do the next one. Taking my second string, coming right here to the right post. I pull it tight. I pull up about 6 inches from the sound hole on the string. See, I got the string right there, and I'm gonna pull it over here. It'll be about 6 inches from the sound hole. I keep that tension, and then I come up here and wrap inwards. And from there, I just wind. And sometimes it's good to pull the excess string up and get it out of the way. And again, I'm just gonna make it where it's tight, not too tight. Just get it on there. Not worried about being at pitch. I checked the bridge pin again. Give it a little push. Still doing pretty good there. Okay. Roll on to the next one. I'll tell you what, let me get, I got this little cool device too. I didn't know if I was need to use it or not, but we'll go ahead and prop this up. It helps you see a little bit better. It might. All right. Taking the third string now, going to the third post up here. And again, I pull it tight, then grab it in the middle, pull up about 6 inches, bring it back, and then I'm going to wrap. And I wrap above the extra the first time and then wind underneath. And again, just enough. Put some tension on it. Good enough. All right, so at this point, I might want to go ahead and take my snips and get rid of some of this extra because it's kind of in the way. You don't want to poke your eye out or anything. So what I do is just get my snips and I take it right as close as I can get to the post itself, straight up and down. And we're all cleaned up over there. Again, toss these things. Bad for vacuums. Going to the fourth string. Again, now you'll notice that when I wind inwards, it's gonna be clockwise this time. As last time it was counterclockwise. This time I'm gonna wind clockwise. Gives it a really nice appearance. And it also makes it where you're tuning the same way every time. I might be in the way here while I'm spinning it on. But same rules apply. Might want to pull it straight up and get it out of the way. Sorry. I was kind of in the way on that one. I don't know if I could move this. Nah, probably not. That's fine. You'll figure it out at home. Let's see here. Snip it off. 2 more to go, and then we tune her up. So same thing, pull it tight, pull up about 6 inches on the string here, and then come down, wrap to the inside of the head, always to the inside. I'm just winding her up. Oh no, that's what I was talking about. That can happen. Did you hear that sound? My bridge pin just popped up a little bit. No big deal. Just gonna push it right back in. Like these are holding pretty good. All right, last one. Pull tight. Grab it up 6 inches from the sound hole. Clockwise this time. We're just gonna wind it up. Out of the way. All right. I think we are good. We're good. And clip this extra off. Very good. All right. So now, take a look how those strings are on there. Here. And then you can also see my bridge pins. They're all nice. Most of them are pretty flush. Some are a little further down than others, but like I said, it's a pretty old guitar. It's been around a long time. It's kind of worn out in certain places, and that happens to be one of them. Okay, so then what we'll do now is we'll go ahead and tune it up. So let's use the regular old snark. Now, sometimes when you're tuning it up, your bridge pins might pull out a little bit. Again, just push them right back in. It's not a big deal. So when you're doing this, just remember chromatically how far you have to go up to the note. So our first string's E, and right now it says B, so I have a good ways to go. So I'm just going to keep going. And I'm at E. Now it's going to stretch, so don't worry about it. If you tune the whole thing, you go back and play it again, it's going to sound a little wonky. That's totally normal. The strings take maybe an hour to really break in, but not too long. And sometimes if you stretch them really quick, you can get them even sooner. So then I'll go to my second string, which is B, and it says G sharp, so I need to go up a little bit further. I got my B now, and my G says it's an A. Oh man, I'm way off, so I got a long ways to go there. And I got my G. Yeah, I had a long ways to go. So when I'm doing that, I'm using a chromatic tuner so I can really see as I'm going up, and I don't have to worry about going too far. So I'll do my fourth string now, which should be D. It says F sharp, so I got a little ways to go. And now it says A sharp, B. Oh, pulled a little bit. Did you hear that? Not a big deal. Check that bridge pin. We're good. They're not going anywhere. C, I'm getting there. C sharp and D. Now onto the fifth string, which is A. Oh, it says B. I got a long ways to go. That's almost an octave off. Let's give it a little spin there. I'm up to G. Keep going. G sharp and A. All right, last one. Low E. Ha. Said F sharp. That's a long ways to go. All right, so it says E again. So I got them all tuned up, but I'm going to have to do it one more time. So at least one more time, because I bet you if I played a chord, it would sound really bad. Yep. So it's a half step flat. Back to E. That was a half step flat. My B said A sharp. B, F, get my G. T needs to come up a little bit. A needs to come up a little bit. E, just a little bit. They're starting to hold already. All right. So, if you have a steel string guitar, make sure you change your strings, and the assignment will be to send me a picture of the strings before and the strings after. Okay, that will be the assignment, and that will be due. We'll give you 2 weeks. 2 weeks sounds good, so we'll do 2 weeks. And if you have any questions, you can contact myself or Elliot or Octavio about that. And again, basically what I want you to do is just take a picture of your old strings on your steel string guitar, and then go ahead through the motions of getting them all changed. And of course, you can watch this video a bunch. There's going to be other videos on YouTube that you can use. Watch a few and then give it a try. And then after you get it all done, send me a picture of the new strings that you got on there. I would love to see them. I hope you do the best. And stay safe out there, guys. I'll be doing the next video on changing nylon strings that will be posted for Wednesday. All right. Bye, guys.